Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and recently we got a brand new blue post announcing even more class changes arriving to patch 10.0.7 in just a handful of days. This update features class improvements for PvE, which is mostly filled with buffs to a few playstyles which found themselves lacking when it comes to endgame content, while slightly toning down a couple of specific playstyles. This update also features more changes for PvP, specifically targeting a few class specs which found themselves in a more dominant position, usually overperforming ahead of other classes. This update seeks to bring down their lead a little, to make the playing field a little bit more even. So in today's video, I wanted to go over all of the newest changes coming to our classes during next weekly reset of patch 10.0.7. But right before that, most of you guys watching these update videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do. So let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you're looking to get regular class and content updates for all the future Dragonflight builds. The first class to receive some welcome improvements is the Unholy Death Knight. If you prefer the Necromancer army playstyle, then you'll be happy to know that Summon Gargoyle has been upgraded to deal more damage with every cast, though its cast speed has been slightly reduced to improve on the Gargoyle's consistency. Your Unholy minions benefit from any buffs applied to the Commanding Death Knight. This includes the Priest haste buff of Power Infusion. At high enough haste values, the Gargoyle would actually miss out on some of its Gargoyle strikes, so this recent change helps counter any loss of value. Unholy is also being buffed to deal more damage outside of the major cooldowns, with armies summoned by Raised Dead and Army of the Dead becoming 10% more effective. Scourge Strike and Clawing Shadows see a 20% damage increase. Soul Reaper Execute grows 15% more effective. Finally, Death Coil's damage is being increased by 10%, though this buff specifically does not apply to PvP. Balance Druids are gaining increases to their single target damage, with spells like Star Surge buffed by 10% though only for PvE. Denizens of the Dream Talent will improve the summoned fairy dragons by 20% as well. Guardian Druids are receiving some love in this update also, with their mastery Nature's Guardian, which improves the maximum health and healing received, increased from 50% up to 70% of its value. Barkskin's cooldown has also been reduced down to a baseline of 45 seconds, which can be shortened further with the talents like Survival of the Fittest. Barkskin is normally used for defensive purposes, and the shortened cooldown helps increase the uptime where the Guardian Druid can mitigate damage. But Barkskin can also increase Bear Druid's offensive value as well, especially when combined with the talent of Brambles in large AoE encounters. Preservation Evokers are about to get more healing increases, with all base healing effects improved by 3%. The healing value of Living Flame is also being increased by 15%, which will come in handy in certain content, specifically in Mythic Plus dungeons. Finally, the talent of Resonating Sphere will apply echoes to one additional target, which improves Evoker's group-wide healing value in large raid situations. Recently, Protection Paladins have been making healers obsolete for Mythic Plus dungeons, taking up the role of both the tank and the healer, while clearing some of the more challenging dungeon content with 4 other DPS. Of course, to execute the strategy perfectly, groups require a bit of coordination, though some have been able to successfully replace healers entirely, usually using Protection Paladins off healing to help compensate. And it seems that Protection's group-wide healing might be coming to an end, with Hand of Protector increasing Word of Glory's healing on allies reduced from the original 250% down to 100% of maximum effectiveness. The class of Priest is seeing substantial buffs on the horizon, starting with the base class talent of Holy Nova, buffed by 30%, which might improve this talent's viability in large group AoE situations. Next, Discipline Priest's mana efficiency is being greatly improved, with Power Word Shield, Renew, and Radiance seeing reductions when it comes to mana resource cost. Both Power Word Shield and Renew have had their healing and absorption value increased by 25% as well, which allows for better instant cast value. Finally, the spec of Holy is seeing its damage increase to help him better perform in dungeon content, increasing the damage of Holy Fire by 15% and the damage of Smite by 30% as well. Since patch 10.0.7, Restoration Shaman has seen massive improvements when it comes to their overall performance. The spec has received big changes to their talent tree, where we saw improvements both in the class talents and in the restoration talents, with many new gameplay additions, more ways of empowering your strongest totems, and far better passive damage output in group content like Mythic Plus dungeons. So far, Restoration has been able to climb to a dominant position and has recently found itself to be quite competitive, even excelling in certain content like Mythic Plus dungeons. Because of their newly found dominant position, their healing is being brought down a little bit to be more in line with every other healer. Up next, we have more PvP specific changes, which hopes to bring down some of the class specs which found themselves slightly overperforming. But before we talk about the nerfs, we first got a handful of buffs to mention. Starting with the class of Druid, where Restoration's Cyclone mana cost is being reduced by 40% to make it more usable in PvP content, specifically citing that the ability already has a limited range and the high mana cost can make it less appealing to use aggressively. Next, we have the spec of Holy Paladin, where the healing of instant cast spells is being increased within PvP. Both Word of Glory Holy Power Spender and the Holy Shock Builder are being improved by 15% to help Holy Paladins be less reliant on hard casting within PvP. Next, we have the Mistweaver Monks, which have been able to use a melee-centric Fistweaver gameplay to dominate within PvP. This update seeks to pull back on the Fistweaving effectiveness, reducing the damage of Rising Sun Kick by roughly 13%, as well as the Blackout Kicks copied by Teachings of the Monastery by 15%, specifically to target the cleave-based gameplay available to Fistweaver Monks. The mana regeneration, which comes with Blackout Kicks, is also being toned down a notch, with Spirit of the Crane mana regen reduced from 0.45% down to 0.18% as well. Next, we have the newly improved Retribution Paladin, which has seen a dramatic increase to its popularity within PvP. This upcoming update seeks to reduce their dominant standing by decreasing their burst damage, group utility, and personal survivability. Avenging Wrath's damage and crit chance when using the Avenging Wrath Might upgrade is being reduced down to 10% within PvP. Divine Protection Defensive is also being reduced as well. Normally, when talented together with Ages of Protection, Divine Protection reduces damage taken by 30%, though with this new baseline nerfs, this would bring it down to only 20%. The self-healing through Light's Celerity is also being nerfed, increasing the healing of Flash of Light from 50% down to only 20%. The passive Sturdiness granted through Sanctified Plates is also being cut down in value, reducing the stamina and avoidance by 50% within PvP. Finally, Blessing of Sacrifice Group Defensive is also being reduced, transferring only 20% of allies' damage to the Paladin down from the original 30%. Finally, the spec of Demonology Warlock has been able to see large damage increases with the new talents introduced in the patch 10.0.7. One of the most impactful talents so far has been the new addition of Immutable Hatred, which increases Felguard's damage against a single target, which has allowed their main Felguard pet to gain much greater value within PvP. Because Felguards are somewhat difficult to avoid, this resulted in a massive increase to the passive damage, which is being reduced in this upcoming build. The value of Immutable Hatred is being reduced by 50%, specifically when it comes to the damage of Legion Strike when used against a singular target. And that's going to be the full list of class changes arriving to patch 10.0.7 in just a handful of days. I want to thank all of you so much for watching this video and hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below, what you think about the upcoming class changes. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single live stream and video, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or discuss with the other members of the community what you think about the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.